Good morning. My name is Ross Scott, and I have been a member of UUSP for almost 2 years now. This will be my first time sharing with our congregation. I'd like to talk with you this morning about community, and specifically, some of the important women who changed mine for the better. I'll begin where it all started for me, and that's Texas. It's a Texas that some of you will have to squint to remember, and it's a Texas that some of you young ones will not be able to even imagine. I grew up in a Texas where strong, unconventional, democratic women ran the show. My governor, please, that is a good thing. My governor was Ann Richards. No one told me this would be fun. I didn't know we were going to get applause for this. Ann Richards was a recovering alcoholic. She had a big gray bouffant, and she had a very sharp tongue. My state representative was this articulate, towering black woman. She was a lesbian. In 1976, if you can imagine, she delivered the Democratic Convention keynote address that introduced Jimmy Carter to our nation. She had a booming voice, and her name, as she spoke it, was Barbara Jordan. To this day, when I land in the Austin airport to go home to see my family, that Barbara Jordan statue is waiting for me there, and I see my touchstone. I'm grounded. Now that's saying something, because 1970s small town Texas was not a walk in the park for a little gay boy with an unpredictable home life. While alcohol was often my father's companion, it was not his friend. My teachers, mostly women of course, saw around corners, and they created my safe space, my community. Mrs. Bird, after third grade, took me on a several-day train tour of Texas. Mrs. Wheelis, in fourth grade, took me to a local performance of the Vienna Boys Choir. Mrs. Stovall, my high school literature teacher, read with me The Awakening by Kate Chopin. All of these things that introduced me to new ways of life happened in small-town Texas. Then Mrs. Stovall helped me go away to college. That was something that I had never seen modeled in any of my family. During Fish Camp, which was Aggie New Student Orientation, Dr. Jan Winifred, our Dean of Students, found me. She took me in, and she opened up a community I could not even imagine. She helped me find my place, find my community on a campus that was 3 times the size of my hometown. When I graduated, she created an assistantship so that I could stay and work on a master's. From there, I made it to Nashville, Tennessee, Vanderbilt University, where of course I studied community. And specifically, I studied how civility on the college campus was beginning to erode in direct relation to the advent of technology. For my dissertation, I wrote Vanderbilt University's first community covenant. More on covenants in just a moment, but for now, fast forward. Life happened. I married Jimmy, who is up there. Jimmy is our sexton today. He's filling in for Lisa. I married Jimmy. We raised our family. We worked hard. We retired. And we made our way to the sparkling white sands of Florida Panhandle just in time for another smart woman, one who knows it takes a village to become our president. Except she didn't. And when ours, to our knowledge, was the lone blue yard sign in the entire county, we realized maybe we had not moved to our true community yet. So Jimmy got busy Googling the bluest voting precincts in Florida, and ta-da! St. Pete basically sight unseen for us in 2018. After the pandemic, like many, Jimmy and I needed a reboot. So in April of 2022, we decided to see what a Unitarian Universalist was. That day in April, Trish Birch stood here and gave a view from the pew and she shared how this community had enveloped her during a drastic change in her life, how important this was. She piqued our interest, so we came back. The following Sunday, Rebecca Wilson not only delivered our view from the pew, she sang. It was equally intriguing and it was so comforting. And then just 2 weeks later, Barbara Archibald walked up to this very microphone and she spoke on nurturing the beauty of community. I felt her arms around me. Maybe we had found a home after all. But even in our UUSP community, we are not immune to the influences of a sometimes mean world. Last year, as we went through the proceedings to vote Reverend Ben in as our settled minister, I was surprised more than once by comments and actions of some of our congregants. Honestly, I was a little bit unsettled. At our final congregational meeting before the vote, an unassuming woman stood up and took the microphone. In a single declaration, Morgan Gresham disarmed and calmed an entire community. Strong, often unassuming women help us land on the right side of history. Unfortunately, strong women are not currently running the show. Our current model is narcissistic, misogynistic, and frankly, mean. So here in our church, we can come up with a way to be different. We can come up with a way to protect our beloved community here. Trish, our church president, has recently convened a task force to draft a community covenant for our congregation. This is step one in working toward a right relations process for our entire congregation. It will be a way of holding each other and really of holding ourselves accountable when disagreements arise, and they will. It will be an expectation and an agreement for our entire community, congregants, staff, volunteers, even visitors. I'm on this task force, and you'll be jealous when you learn that the other members are Susan Bernor, Cal Fox, and Ellen Hayes. Our work together has just been a delight. It has been exactly how a community can best operate, but it's only a starting point. In 2 weeks, on March 22nd, we'll share this preliminary work at our Saturday church retreat. Please, please come participate. If you think you don't have a dog in this hunt, then your voice is probably exactly the voice that we need right now. Your input will help make our magical UUSP community the vibrant, safe ceasefire zone that we all want and deserve right now. So if you haven't registered yet, find Todd Wellman, find me, find any of us during coffee hour. People desperately need a touchstone in today's world of constant inbounds, constant distractions. May our beloved UUSP be that place. Let's do the work. I believe we can. I believe that what we do in this world matters. I still believe in Barbara Jordan, and I believe in us. Thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Quiet.
Okay, you know what, go ahead. See, we'll do that after. Go ahead. You can change it up.
I know Tim's going to say something about this, but
he's setting up. So I'll just say that Tim started writing a musical a few years ago about the civil rights struggle. And this is one of the hit songs from the musical.
Like a roadie.
Yeah.
So many buttons on this thing. Yeah, all right. 60 years ago, on March 7th, 1965, police attacked hundreds of civil rights activists who were beginning a march in Selma, Alabama. The news coverage of this event was seen worldwide. Now, when I think of all the social activists who have come together and who continue to come together for justice, I feel much gratitude and hope. This song begins with a couple having a moment alone before they go out to join the 600 plus marchers in Selma. I know you're scared, so am I. Just gotta get out there. We just have to try. And the world will see what it's like for you and me. So many of us going, our hearts will be showing, and when it's all through, I hope I find you. Here we go. We're marching on the freedom today. We're marching on the freedom, making our way. Side by side, we're rolling tide. Marching on the freedom today. They tried to take away our civil rights, tried to stop us there with all their might, but I know
Our reading today is by Margaret Fuller, and if you want to read along, it's page number 575 of the Gray Hymnal. This probably is not the one that was in your order of service, but this is the one that fits. A new manifestation is at hand. A new hour is come, when man and woman may regard one another as brother and sister, able both to appreciate and to prophesy to one another. A new manifestation is at hand. A new hour is come. What woman needs is not as a woman to act or rule, but as a nature to grow, as an intelligence to discern, as a soul to live freely and unimpeded, to unfold such powers as were given to her. A new manifestation is at hand. A new hour is come. Man does not have his fair share either. His energies are repressed and distorted by the interposition of artificial obstacles. A new manifestation is at hand. A new hour is come. We would have every arbitrary barrier thrown down. We would have every path laid open to woman as freely as to man. Were this done, we believe a divine energy would pervade nature to a degree unknown in the history of former ages. A new manifestation is at hand. A new hour is come.
This month's Soul Matters theme is the practice of trust. And in this spirit, I do want to explore with you guys what is trust. And by standing up here today, I am trusting you with myself as Ross trusted you when he shared from the heart. Thank you for that. And Tim and the choir sung from the heart. They're trusting you with their feelings. They're trusting you with their passion. And we're all trusting in the covenant for us to embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. And even though I am not you, and my message might be different than what you want to say, or you want me to say, I'm trusting that you won't throw stones at me. And in the worst case scenario, that we can have a passionate discourse after the service. By you all allowing me to be up here, you are trusting me to deliver a message worthy of a Unitarian Universalist worship service in our collective, free, and responsible search for truth and meaning. And to continue, I want to hold sacred both the ideas of International Women's Day and this exploration of trust. And in doing so, I am going to use some gendered language, and I want to be clear that we as humans struggle to hold everything in our heads at once, so we use categories to help us sort and organize the world. So two prominent categories that a lot of us juggle are the ideas of masculine and feminine, and each of us have those traits within us. We're using those categories to organize ourselves, not define ourselves. So we're clear? All right, I'm going forward. When we explore the concept of trust, I want to break it down into masculine and feminine components. If we're looking at trust in a masculine way, it can be seen as very tangible. Are we logistically on the same page? Are your words aligned with your actions? Can I trust you to do what you say you're going to do? It's very functional, and I feel that for many of us, it's pretty clear to see how to cultivate this kind of trust. A well done is better than a well said, said Benjamin Franklin. Conversely, when we look at trust through a feminine lens, that sense of trust is much less concrete. Feminine trust is often felt. It's often intuitive or relational. Do I trust you? If I am vulnerable and honest, will you still treat me with tenderness and respect? Or do I need to keep my guard up around you? Many of us wear metaphorical masks. We have our public selves and our private selves. our customer service voice. Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? And our after a long day groan. If a man says, you'd look prettier if you smiled, which some of us have heard, a lady might smile, and that's to keep herself safe until she goes to her car to vomit. And that man might think that he's done a great service to the world by bringing more smiles into it. But that's the core of feminine trust. Can we have a conversation that is real and vulnerable about things that deeply affect us while still maintaining a sense of safety and belonging? Or will we be punished for raising our voices? My hope for this church is that we are a place that is safe for honest communication. I'm placing my faith in this church that even in our disagreements and conflict, we can hold one another with respect and love. To parrot last week, I don't like the color of the wall, but somebody does. And to digress, is there one person who really loves the color of the wall here? Yeah? Can someone tell me why? Just one reason, shout it out.
Did you see the old color?
I didn't.
It was awful.
Oh.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was orange.
Orange.
So it's a big improvement, and I can see that passion. Thank you. And for me, seeing that passion that went into that wall color, cool, I get it. It's not my thing, but wow, I love you. I love you guys. And you guys are passionate about it, and we made a change that was positive for us as a community. So thank you. And I'm sorry, sorry for closing the loop on that. I couldn't stop thinking about it all week. But we'll pretend it's a trust exercise, right? If you like the call, we like the call of the wall. Some of you raised your hands, despite me and Reverend Ben both saying we don't really like it. And that's awesome. I want to be in a place where people disagree with me and educate me on having a better perspective with my opinion. So I'm grateful that you guys here are choosing to trust this congregation with your honest truth. And I hope you guys are showing up as your whole selves, not just a mask, because we have a lot of masking that we got to do every day. Hi, can I take your order, please? Yeah, we have a lot. And I really appreciate, that's the thing I love about this church, is how genuine it is, that we can come with our whole selves. So going back, I think that the reason that, this type of intuitive trust, trusting ourselves with that safety, I think the reason it's considered a feminine quality is that it's a skill that mothers use with their young children since the beginning of time. And there's something special about when someone is listening to you with their full attention. And it's difficult to describe the specific micro happenings that show that someone cares about you and what you have to say. Is it eye contact? Sometimes. Is it the verbal uh-huh or head nods? Maybe. It's very intangible. And how can we convey that even if you say something that hurts my feelings, I'll still love and care for you? How can you convey that? How do we feel loved without exception? I think part of the reason that intuition is a key word for feminine trust is you have to sense that someone actually feels that way and is not just putting on a mask or a fake smile. And for us to convey that genuinely, that it's okay, I love you regardless, we all make mistakes, we're all different, it's fine. For us to convey that, it needs to be genuine. So I've been sick for the last few days, so if you notice I'm a little weeble wobble, and I no-showed for a meeting that I arranged with one of y'all. Sorry about that. But my actions did not reflect me being trustworthy. Also, I'm sorry I did that. My actions did not reflect me being trustworthy, especially in that masculine sense. But I'm gonna trust that we're still cool because we are a church where we care about each other and we have empathy and compassion for all the bumps and bangs on this road of life. And it's okay. We trust you. We're here for you. You are not alone. And you can trust, we want us all to trust that in our hearts, that we are all here for each other, no matter what. And you're allowed to be human and make mistakes. I'm so thankful for I asked for a lot of help today, and someone opened doors, got me cups, I asked 5 different people for things, and you guys are amazing. It's being able to be vulnerable, to ask for help when you need it, is a form of trust. And being there to allow me to be vulnerable, that's that trust and love. That even if I ask for help, you're still gonna love me. So in closing, I can't ask you to unconditionally trust everyone because actions do speak louder than words. And some folks do have unkind intentions. But what I can ask is for each of us to be trustworthy for one another by showing up with unconditional love. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Amen. Ase, blessed be.
We eat fruit from trees planted long before we were born. May we plant seeds that bear fruit long after we are gone. In the sanctuary, the offering will now be given and received. That which is given in love is received with great joy. Now please rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn as we come marching number 109 in the gray hymnal.
There are a couple references in the lyrics to this hymn about bread and roses. That was an amazing song during the labor movement of the 1920s and 30s. And so it's all about empowering the workers. And boy, do we need this today. As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, of a million darkened kingdoms, worship's ray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing bread and roses, as we come marching, battle for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our life shall not be swifter from birth until life closes, or a strife as well as pine. Give us bread, but give us roses, as we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread, small and love and beauty, their trudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater day, the rising of the women means the rising of the race. No drudge and idler tend the toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glory, bread and roses,
You may be seated. And if I can just interject here a little personal tidbit. This song to a different tune was a traditional song that the women's marches for abortion rights walked to the Capitol to. And it was performed by Holly Near, who was a longtime feminist, still is, and she was one of the leaders of Olivia Records, which was a women's music company during the 1970s. Now, our closing words are from a hymn titled Letter from Our Better Angels, authored by Sean Parker Dennison.
Dear one, we've received your letter, and we hate to tell you, not hate so much, but are a bit afraid to say, we cannot grant your requests as stated, but can only remind you of familiar things. First, faith. Faith in yourself and trust in others. We know it can be terrifying to be vulnerable, but only when you share your softest side will we be able to break through. Next, hope. Hope is not an empty fairy tale. It is the true story of all the times human beings like you have found a way to create the future, though you didn't know how. And of course, love. Love demands that you cherish all people, not just yourself in safety. Love that is not satisfied until every argument ends abruptly when one child says, "That hurts." There's so much to learn and relearn. The world teaches you to be hard, to negotiate and defend, to avoid giving too much into the wrong people. There are no wrong people. You also are not wrong, and when you encounter the poor, the broken, the unhoused, and the unwelcome, you are looking, and if you pay attention at us calling you to answer your own prayers. If you want to change the world, first, be sure you are changing yourself. Be tender, be kind, be at peace, be all the things you wish for. Be your own better self. It isn't without cost, but it will be free. Now please remain seated as Tim plays our postlude.
We invite you to follow along with the hand gestures: light of truth, head; warmth of heart, love; fire of courage, fingers. As Robert extinguishes our chalice, the words to UUSP's traditional chalice extinguishing are in your order of service and online in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Our worship is over, but our service begins. Please join us for coffee hour in Gilmore. And if you see someone not talking to anybody, maybe go up and say hello. We hope this time together will help you through your week and will help you remember you are not alone.